complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and stream with us. 758-453-7458.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's ginger turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Monday afternoon to you everyone on this 10th
The man
of the month of June 2024. Thank you so very much for once again keeping us company, staying with Real FM Radio and NBC Television, as well as on Facebook Live and YouTube streaming. For the Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside Jaquan, our technical operator. For our program, which airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on the above mentioned platforms, in the case of Real FM, serving you on the dual frequencies of 91.3 for the north and 91.5 in the south. NBC Television comes to you on channel 120 on the Flow cable TV service. I need say more, do I, about the Facebook Live and the YouTube. Hope you're having a good day so far. It's nice to be back for the start of another week. Yes, indeed, this Monday, and all goes well until Friday, uninterrupted. You know we have no programs on weekends and on public holidays. I do hope that your weekend was very nice and safe, even though there's some sad news attached to it. But I'll get to that in just a moment. Let me say thanks to the myriad of you who sent me birthday greetings. Yesterday was my birthday, and I was absolutely moved, deeply touched, and I'm quite appreciative of the multitude of comments and good wishes that came to me in all forms, on the telephone, on social media, and otherwise. I really didn't think so many people had me in mind in that way, and like I said, it's always deeply touching when it does happen. So to all those of you who are celebrating your birthdays today and for the week, I wish you the very best, not for the day, but for the completion of another year of life and the beginning of another, and that it will be well with you in all ways that really matter. There's a little thing that I like to do when people ask me, everything okay, everything all right? And many of you who know me and are conversational with me would know that my usual response is, yes, the things that matter are all right. Sometimes it isn't really that we are concerned about the important things in life. We pay too much attention to what I and others describe as the trappings of life, when really what we need to concern ourselves with are the essentials of life. The things that are really needed, the things that are really necessary. You know, good health, sufficiency, shelter, you know, those kinds of things that we need. And so many of the things that we could have and that we are allowed to be participants and to play a part in, but which we don't, at least not sufficiently. You've heard me rail against some of those things, that a lot of the comfort and the, is it salubrity or salubriousness is the word? You know, to have healthy surroundings, that we have good air that we can breathe, and ventilation, and just that general feel good. You ever notice there are certain times where the air just smells nice? It doesn't have a smell, you know, but there's just a nice smell to the air. Especially after heavy rains or something, a little rainstorm, the wind and all has subsided. There always seems to be that sting, that kind of electrifying freshness about the air. There is science to it, you know, it's not just your mind. The rain has washed out a lot of the dust and grime from the air. The wind has blown away a lot of the staleness and, that sort of thing. And so I think there's something they call about ionization, the ionization of the air. Don't know how true it is. I think there are actually some gadgets and devices that they have now that they call air ionizers. I don't have one, never have. I don't know how effective it is, because nowadays there's just so many gimmicks, so many stunts of people trying to separate you from your money, trying to snooker you in some way or the other, and many of us fall for it. When you hear me talking about appreciating our environment and the natural beauty and the flora of St. Lucia and the wild fruits and the guavas and so on, and keeping an environment where we can go reach out our hand and pick out a pomme de liane or whatever it is and eat it and so on, is because I have been led to spend a goodly part of my money for a long time importing things like acai berry powder and this and that, because people convince me about antioxidants and anti-inflammatories and this and that. And then when I did some of my own reading and so on further, and I said, hey, why are we letting people who selling acai berry and this and that make so much money on us? When I did the research and I found out that guava, mango, they have the highest antioxidant index in terms of percentage. And I said, we always on something where we want antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. And right here in St. Lucia, right here in St. Lucia, if we treat the environment, that's why you heard me talking so much about the wild fruits that grow along riverbanks, the mame, like they call it, I think they call it the kashiman and so many of those things, and the pommes and this and that we have in our country. And, they grow in abundance. A lot of them may have been casualties of the days of the banana industry when we're always spraying something. And in fact, without all the spraying, just cutting them down to make space for the bananas. Bananas like unobstructed space so that their own canopy, the broad leaves and so on, they love the sunlight. They want a lot of sunlight. So many of us, because it was a cash crop short term, we went cutting down cashew trees and this and that and the other and so on. Now we got to be importing, imported cashews and so on. Well, we had an abundance of it. It was a joy. It was a good exercise to wake up early in the morning to brave the dew and to go and collect nuts and so on. Many times we were actually stealing people's nuts, but there were just so many of them that the people, you were raiding their nuts. And I hope Sammy Bryce from Viewfort is listening, because Samuel's father had his land, his estate, just across the river from where my family, my grandparents had theirs. And Sammy's father kept a lot of his nut trees. I doubt he ever even grew bananas. He had this pasture for his cows. He loved his cows. But, Senville Bryce had a lot of cashew trees. And people used to go and pick up cashews there. And there was such an abundance. Neither Sammy nor his father ever arrested anybody. They might give you a little word of, rebuke or whatever and so on. But they never chased you or tried to get you, because there were just so many. And, it was a race to see who could get there first. And some people were smart. They would, some would try to be poking the tree with a stick. While all you had to do was just wait for it to fall. And, you would pick up much more than the person trying to poke the tree, as well as eating the cashew fruit and so on. When you got one that was ripe enough that it had already fallen down or was just about to fall, so close to it, that thing was juicy. It was refreshing. And I'm sure it was very healthy. So this is why you hear me ranting and raving. I believe if we have a St. Lucia where we can have a lot more of these natural fruits and so on, I call them exotics, but if exotic means something that's kind of strange and novelty, not really. We grew up in those things. But to have a landscape that abounds in them, so that we can have them in public, free access and so on, in many places that people hiking can just take them. I don't think we'll need all these different things about that we have to import their powder and so on. The abundance of what we have in St. Lucia, or we could have in St. Lucia, is much more than adequate for our needs. At least that's my view. I'm not saying it's going to cure the cancers and this and everything. I don't think there's any jawi tooth and so on. But I feel if we could have, just like when you go by the beaches, the almond trees and the sea grapes trees and so on, all of these things, they're nice for us. They make the experience better. including the time when coconuts, the rivers and the streams used to carry them down. So that's nobody's property. So you go there, some people would go and peel them to take away by the bags, but it was just, the joy of putting it down and raising a heavy stone, the heaviest you can lift, and throwing it down on it, removing the husk and enjoying, coconut, that kind of thing. We can have that kind of life, and I believe it will not only connect us more to our Mother Earth, to our Saint Lucia and so on. I think it will connect us more to each other, the simple joys of life. I remember taking my kids down to Casabah and my wife, and we playing our own little three-a-side and so on. She and two of the boys, me and two of the boys against one another. And before we know it, so many people who don't even know us see the little game or the little game with the coconut bat and a tennis ball and so on. And other people just join in, and before you know it, you have a big crowd just because one family was playing a little cricket bats coco, with a wind ball or tennis ball or whatever. When the furry skin is taken off it, you call that a Charlie. And that has speed and, for you to cope with that. This kind of little joys of life for us to discover in a peaceful way with one another. Not always the loud music, boom, 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 because everybody can do their thing. The kind of things that can bind us together, I believe we can make a big difference. If we can, they haven't been lost, but we need to reconnect them in a more purposeful and in a more meaningful way, because the hostility and aggression of before anything is a fight, before anything is a prick, stab, a shoot somebody, a chop somebody, that's taking hold of us. I really think we can. I don't know if we can eliminate it completely. It's always been there. But I believe the build-up, the mental build-up towards it can be intercepted. I'm talking about intercepted, I think we've done well for the year so far compared to how the trend of things were going. In that, homicides probably never stopped. Last we heard a woman had stabbed a man who had assaulted her, whatever. It's unusual to hear the woman being the perpetrator. Here and there we hear of things happening. But by and large, the homicides, the murders, the fatal shootings, the other violent, into people's lives and so on, seem to have become somewhat few and far between in the last couple of months, especially around the jazz festival. I don't think we heard of anything happening. There seemed to have been a quieting down of things in that direction. I didn't talk about it too much because people have told me, and I myself have realized, once you start talking about it, I don't know if it's true that the fellas or somebody says, huh? Fellas, what happened? We falling down or what? What happened to us? We getting soft or what? Even on the radio, I had them saying we ain't doing anything. I don't think that's the way it happens, really. But when you hear in the weekend, I think there were 2 double homicides, right? Two of them, in Marsha, 2 people, taken just like that. And Rodney Bay, another 2, taken. So we would have had at least 4 homicides, shootings, fatal shootings on the weekend and so on. And this is not the first time in recent memory we hear in Rodney Bay seeming to become more regular, more frequent something. And there was a time, and that's instructive for us, people. This is very instructive for us. It ain't a matter of Cooleytown, Roseau and Sandy Fair, Sarat and Mac and the Dennery Valley, the Gulf and Bruceville, Viewfort and so on, that these become kind of like the profiled, the categorized, places that always seem to come into focus. And I mentioned more and more we are in places that, my friend, there was a time where you used to hear them fewer, Monrepo has popped up, the very name Monrepo means my peace, weepo more, more weepo, you're hearing about this kind of things in places like Monrepo. You're hearing more of them in Dennery Village, like I told you, I was born and grew up. There was always incidents, but you're hearing them coming now. Rodney Bay, these things where Rodney Bay was associated with being an upper crust bourgeoisie kind of place. Now you're hearing about shootings and things in the Rodney Bay area and so on. And that just goes to show no place is immune, Then we're going to hear it spilling over into Redway and all of that. There is no such thing as any place where you're living that because of the nature and the socio-economic insulation you think of the place, even in gated community, that this thing will not eventually make its way there at some point or another. You know, we have to think that kind of way. But the point I was making about intercepting things. I will repeat what I have said so many times. And this is not to say that it's as easy as the way I say it, or easy as a snap of our fingers, or that I believe the police are not doing the things that I'm saying that they should do, or that these things are not being attempted. I understand policing is not easy. It cannot be easy. And that is why we need to have more respect for our police. Folks, let me tell you, no matter how much training you have at training school and otherwise, I don't prepare you for the things that cops have to deal with on a daily basis on the streets in encounters. They go and arrest somebody or to question somebody for the protection and the good of the very society, and next thing you know, what you're seeing, how many people surround them and playing their hand in their face and went to court, especially if they know they're being recorded. They want to show how they brave, they want to show how they bold, they want to show how they're not afraid of anybody, and so they are obstructing the police in the execution of their duties, trying to force the police to resile from arrest, because everybody wants to be that community hero, that community legend, that everybody says how bad you are, and you're taking magie and whatever, and you go, man, and you hold the police hand and you make him drop the fella, man, you don't even know why he's being arrested. You don't even know, you just want popularity and you just want fame. It's the same way, when there's an accident. That's why I try my best. Accidents are not things that you should ever want to get involved in. But my goodness, I am somebody, I back down. I pull myself in a corner. First of all, when you have an accident, your whole day gone. But beyond that is the screaming and the people who, they know they're wrong, coming and pointing their finger in your face, and who quietly going behind you so they can give you a callot, because you can't see, and that one pushing you by there, and that one, your fellas, you didn't see the fella, they don't even know, all the time there, you didn't see the man going there, you should have seen the man, even though the man is wrong in the way he crossed the roundabout. He should have stopped. You expected him to stop, and he went, and you ended there, man, there, see the man, that man, and they have children on the vehicle, it goes on and on like that. And very often the people who behave that way, and all the points I'm making there, they're connected, Don't believe I'm jumping from one point to another. I'm not. A lot of the times the people you see who get aggressive and who want to fight you and who want to chop you and threaten to shoot you at the scene of an accident, you know why? It's bluff charging. They know that they do not have the legal footing for that accident they're involved with. They probably don't have insurance. They probably don't have license. They don't have registration. So they're trying to intimidate you and bully you and to browbeat you right from the start. So you'll say, okay, done with that. You'll drive off and let them go. A lot of that kind of thing is happening on the road. And if you get yourself in a collision with somebody who's riding a motorcycle, that he knows he doesn't have license or permit for, he knows he doesn't have insurance, he knows he's not registered, what are you going to do? He's going to try to get out of there. He's going to try to intimidate you. He's going to try to maybe even kill you or whatever, so witness and whatever is not there. You have to be thinking of all those kinds of things. So I do my utmost. I yield. I give way. I step down. I stand down. I back down. I do everything to avoid an accident. And here is the point I have been making, which is related to what I said about intercepting the progression of problems that we have in this country. I have been pleading. I don't know if something has been done. I have to say, I see a little improvement. I will not lie. In moving about, I see a little improvement in those bikers, the show-off bikers who pass you at all times like it's a display. They want to be seen. They want to show their prowess. And that usually has to do with people with low self-esteem, who don't have any other way to have that sense of self-validation. So it's always yokagadi pumunpu bayo gam. They're looking for notice, They don't have anything else in terms of the ability to express themselves, some skill that they have or something that they can show and whatever. So maybe that's the way they market themselves, whether to women, for people to see them, how they can squeeze their way through tight lines of traffic and make their vehicle, them bikes thunder and roar and this kind of thing. You on a flat, there's endless clear space, they will not pass you. But when they see another line coming, there's people there to watch them, to give them notice and this kind of thing, as we see. That I'm seeing a little less of it, but here's the point I'm making about the intercept, not just of the bikes and so on. We may be a little overly concerned and shocked and outraged and terrified and so on when it reaches the point of somebody shooting somebody. But many times, people, this culmination, this climax of lawlessness in the violent taking of someone else's life did not happen overnight. It had its growth. It had its progression. Just like in commerce and trade, we have what we call the value chain, and we have the supply chain and so on. And there is the build-up of the price and so on throughout the supply chain and the value chain of the oil, how much you buy it from the refineries or oil trading companies per raw barrel, and what it goes to refine, how much you add on for the refining, how much you add on for the transportation, for the tanker, for this and that, until it reaches the pump. It's the same way. I am suspicious, and I suspect I'm correct, that the people who shoot people and who get to that, they did not arrive there one day and just, they're full-grown hitmen and assassins. There is a progression through the supply chain, through the value chain of lawlessness and antisocial behavior. The things that I watch on Discovery and what's the other name of that, Animal Planet and National Geographic Explorer and so on. A lion does not one day spring full grown that can bring down a fast and dangerous antelope that has this sharp horns that if it miscalculates or warthog, whatever, that lion is done for. It has to be a lion that has gone through the progression of being able to bring down a rabbit that does not have claws and fangs, and it grows maybe to taking down something smaller, a little stronger. It moves up, it moves on and so on, until the lion or leopard, fascinating. I look in this thing, I'm seeing a leopard, a land animal, a cat that doesn't generally like water and so on, leaping into water, to catch a crocodile, a strong animal, especially when it's in the water. The power that a crocodile has, that a leopard can jump in and, that leopard didn't spring one day and suddenly have the prowess and the strength and the skill and the timing and the efficiency to go in water and to catch a crocodile. Likewise, the same way with those young men who do it. There is a progression of the lawlessness, and that is why I have been saying we need to be concerned and act throughout the entire range of antisocial behavior, of criminal behavior, of anti-society behavior. You never know who you're busting when you bust somebody on the road who you notice they're driving like they're irresponsible. Likely the reason they're irresponsible is that they are not cataloged in a system of accountability where they can be held to account, brought to book, their feet held to the fire for the vehicle, whether a bike or a car. You bust them for one thing and you never know. How many famous, dangerous criminals have been caught in St. Lucia? In the United States, you see it on all those crime documentaries and so on. And it was not for them, that the police were looking. A routine traffic stop, run license plates, certain things start to come up that don't check out. They look into it and then they say, oh, there's something about this guy we need to check out. Something is not adding up. And then before you know it, you have bagged, you have snagged, you have, gotten a serial killer that you were looking for. And I am making the point. You never know when you go and you look into those people, those young men mostly, who are doing all the craziness with the bikes on the road. You never know when you do your traffic stops, when you pull them in and so on, when you find out that they don't have license or permit, or that it has not been renewed for how long. They have no insurance for that bike. So if they get into an accident, not even third party, the other person will have to find some way to either fix their vehicle at their own cost or sue them for what they will never get, that they're not registered. And I told you what insurance companies told me about them. We're not insuring the bikes because they do not meet the basic prerequisites for us to insure. We can't insure a bike whose owner come, who don't have permit, they don't have registration, there's no licensing. We can't insure that. It's not insurable right from the get-go, right from the ground level of fundamentals and requirements. They don't have it. So how many of them are on the road uninsured? I'm making the point, you never know. When you interdict them, when you interdict them at that point, you never know what you will discover. And every time I see people like that, and other situations, not just that, on the road, you have to ask yourself, what else is hiding behind this lawless behavior that we are most likely not taking seriously enough, dismissing it as young men just kicking off. Oh, the fellas like to kick off. Yeah, quite true. Maybe most of them. But some of them may just be expressing a mindset of lawlessness behind which there are some deeper, darker, and more dangerous things that beg for discovery, that beg interception and interdiction and stopping them. Because when I see people, you've heard me say that tragedy moves in clusters, Look at how the homicides, we had almost put them to the back of our men. And in one weekend, we have a cluster of 4. I was by a gas station, last night. I did what I did and I was stopping there. I had some water in one of those 5-gallon, they call it, containers and so on. So I decided to use it, to wash out some bottles and say, since I'm there, pull myself on the side and, doing a little bit of the things that. And then one of those, how you call those trucks that carry, the wrecker that carry vehicles on them that have been in accidents. One pulled up for fuel and it had a car on it, a white car. And then I'm looking at the car and there's just something about, you see that all the time, but something about the car just telling me like I had seen it before. And it's a video clip someone had sent me of the car in which they had shot, the 2 guys and so on, white car, and I see people gather around and I said, let me go take a look. And right from a distance, I could see a couple of bullet holes on the body of the car. Then I saw the side, the driver's side, where they had to block it off with some fabric or plastic or so on. That's where they riddle, them through the driver's side with bullets and so on. I looked the other side and you can see the marks of the streaks of blood that had dripped out of it. And even on the bed, the bed of the wrecker and so on, where the car is chained and so on, you could see, the blood stains that had still dripped from the car on it and so on. And I look at it and this is not the actual killing scene, but I'm feeling a sense of revulsion and horror just looking at it. It's like, oh my goodness, here stands before me a reminder, a memento of something ghastly, of something murderous that took place. And this is the point I am making. When I see those young men behaving the way they are, and other examples too, immediately lawlessness comes to my mind. It's kind of a gangster-like behavior. You are demonstrating daring. You are demonstrating impunity, entitlement to break the law, to behave any way. And criminality, bad behavior, it tends to move in a cluster, in what you call a stream of consciousness. The guy who is behaving that way, either he is someone who is on the way, he's going through a rite of passage to become the gangster, the gangbanger, the criminal, the shooter, the hitman, the biker gang member, and this kind. That's his rite of passage. Either it's a build-up or he's already involved in it. Because if somebody has reached the point where they have taken somebody's life, you think things like what they're doing on the road with those bikes matter to them anymore? A lion that has graduated to the point where it can take down big, large, dangerous prey, like as I said, those massive antelopes with those sharp pointed horns that if that lion miscalculates, the ibex or whatever can drive those horns in it and kill it, or a zebra and so on. You think a rabbit means much to it? It don't mean anything to it. It don't care. A rabbit is nothing. A rabbit is just something you toy with. Is a child's plaything for it. If you have people who have bikes and who have already killed, because like I said, so many of the homicides in St. Lucia have not been solved, that at any given time you meet somebody and you look at them, you could be looking into the eyes of a killer. And not just a killer of one instance, of one occasion. You could be looking into the eyes of someone who has been a multiple murderer and manslayer, who has killed several people. You never know. And if you have these kinds of people whose conscience, whose hearts, whose spirit has been burnt, has been cauterized and so on, so that they live, but inside they're dead. They have no kind of love or sentiment or compunction or contrition inside of them. You believe the madness they're doing on the road means anything to them? If it means anything to them, they're alive, they walk, but inside they are dead. They kill people, and know ye this, no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. This is somebody who has paid their ticket, and I'm not saying they be on redemption, that's what I'm saying, but I'm saying in their state where they are unconvicted, where they are uncaught, where they're out there, these people have no kind of compassion or contrition or compunction, or anything like that in them. You think the thing that they're doing on the road matters to them? You think if they have reached the pinnacle of evil in their old souls, that lesser evils will mean anything to them? Tomorrow they want a girl, they see a girl, they go up in some isolated area of Pigeon Point or around, Jerome's Drive or how they call it and so on, and there's bush there, and they see a woman walking the road, and what's it to them to just grab her and to just pull her, into the bushes? There are people who have killed already. They've gone, they have crossed the boundary, they have crossed the Rubicon, So these lesser things of raping somebody, it don't matter to them. They've reached the limits already, There's a song, is it a George Strait or just, I mentioned one called, there's nothing better once you've had the best, Well, there's nothing worse when you have already pushed to the boundary of the worst. You have done the worst. You've experienced the worst. So the lesser things mean nothing to you. An uncaught, unconvicted killer will have nothing to stop him from raping, whether it's a woman. The outer limits of inner damnation he has experienced already. He doesn't give a damn about those lesser things. Police, you never know. By intercepting, by interdicting somebody in a traffic offense, in traffic recklessness, in checking some licenses, in checking some registration, in checking some insurance and so on, you never know who it is you have intercepted that has done much worse, and you can bring them to a screeching halt and spare society more of their evils for which they have absolutely no sensitivity or reserve left in them. There are such people in our country. Probably plenty of them. We encountering them every day. We're looking into their eyes, but maybe we do not have the clairvoyance, I don't certainly, to look into them and to see that behind those eyes there is an empty space of heartlessness that should give us shivers. This is the real issues. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758-453-7458.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Everyone,
the voice.
On this Monday, it is the 10th of June 2024, the day of my birthday, which I never make a big deal of, myself and so on. I think it's a way where I consciously try to keep myself humble and so on, celebrating yourself and memorializing yourself and all that sort of thing. I kind of take it for what it is, an anniversary, a marker, a milestone. But I appreciate, people knowing of it and wishing me the very best. I think it's a good way looking. So the wishes are still coming through. Belated birthday greetings are still pouring in. And let me just tell all of you that I do appreciate it just the same. Just want to tell you that for myself. It's been many years. Maybe when you're much younger, you think about it. But I don't know, I don't make a big deal of it that I have to do something special for the day. Like people say, what do you plan on doing for the day? And what do you, intend to, whatever. I appreciate it. A close relative of mine called me yesterday just when I was preparing to go to church. And my goodness me, the conversation went on for 2 hours. Exactly 2 hours, We were speaking not all about birthday, about different things and catching up on Sunday. And I had told a relative, I'm preparing to go to church. And then when I was finished, the time for church was over. But I appreciated chatting. I said, we've been talking for 2 hours and church time is over. And told me, but you can still go even if you're late and all of that. But then other close relatives called, including some I had not been in touch with for a while. And I didn't want to, in any way, spurn or what's the word, to kind of feel like I'm rebuffing or not answering the phone on a day when they take the time to remember me. So the day went with, quite a lot of calls. I had intended it to be a day of reflection in church with brethren, praying and that sort of thing, but it didn't work out. But I still enjoyed it, and it felt good. In the course of long conversations, you get tidbits of wisdom, and it's amazing. Sometimes just in interacting with people, if we are attentive, if we are conscious, if we are focused, there are so many things we can learn in what seems to be an ordinary conversation, and not just conversation, in the general ordinary things of life and so on. There is usually so many gems of knowledge and wisdom and understanding and consciousness that comes to you if we are attentive and so on. We don't really need to mind the high things and to believe that revelation comes only in spectacular settings and circumstances. Sometimes, more often than not, I suspect, revelations come in the ordinary interactions and experiences of life if we can quiet ourselves to pay closer attention to them. So just my thoughts on that one. Let me just get to that CIP thing, which I'm going to be speaking less about it. I think it's time for certain people who are associated with it to comprehensively come and talk about it. I understand that for legal reasons, it may not be wise to come and talk about things. Sometimes you do better, like I said, keeping your head down. You do better staying quiet. You do better keeping your powder dry. You do better letting people step out, thrust their neck out, and then you have your plan on how to chop it off. Very small, weaker, disadvantaged armies have defeated and foiled much larger ones because they decided to fight a defensive war, and they were good at defensive wars on their own territory. Let the other side come with all their armor and all their forces and so on, and you dig in. You take losses, of course. Let them come with all their bombardment, heavy bombardment, aerial and otherwise, and artillery. But at some point, they got to come on the ground and come forward. You're well dug in positions and so on. You wait for them and you give them what they never expected. I've read a lot of military history and so on where that has kind of been very effective and so on. You don't necessarily want to go out and meet them man for man, tank for tank, pound for pound. They're much too powerful. They have too much numerical advantage. And I've done a lot of reading about this thing called asymmetrical warfare. And when they come with all their forces and so on, you don't have the forces to meet them on a symmetrical one-to-one, tank for tank, aircraft for aircraft, bullet for bullet basis. You work little sabotages around them. And I think both America and the Soviet Union have had that experience. America in Vietnam, where they went and technologically superior by far with their B-52s and so on. The North Vietnamese and the allies in the south called the Viet Cong, simply waited them out, hunkered down, hid in tunnels under the ground in the forest, which is their territory. They knew better, set traps and ambushes for them, and it became an absolute horror story for them. Same with the Soviet Union, mighty large, I mean, even much bigger than Russia is now, going into Afghanistan, a country considered to be primitive and backward, Stone Age backward and so on. But those Afghans, Mujahideen or whatever they call themselves, made it not just a nightmare, but a living hell over a decade by those Soviets and so on. Again, because of the same thing, is their mountains, is their caves, is there whatever, they can take it. They apparently have no, hesitation about losing a few 100,000 lives and so on, but they pick you off one by one over the long term and so on. So maybe I said, that there are people associated with the CIP that they will wait to see Philip Martinez's moves in that lawsuit that he says he was going to file, but which was never filed, but he came talking about it. And so they don't want to make the same mistake. I think Martinez overreached. He stuck out his neck too far, a little too early. And remember, I'm always telling you, Martinez does not have a lawsuit. He has a complaint that he wants to take to a court that they can turn it into subpoenas and so on to the various people. He never got that stage. He never even knew if the court that he filed it in would rule that they have jurisdiction. Now, usually, when you file lawsuits against multiple respondents or defendants on broadly the very same complaints and the very same allegations and accusations, usually there is a domino effect if one of them fails. One of them gets thrown out, one of them gets quashed, and the court says, look, we really don't, see any merit in that, even in, going forward with it. And usually the domino effect is that you tend to find your case or your complaint against all your other respondents and defendants fall like a chain reaction and so on. And so, from what I'm reading, from what I'm hearing, I haven't gotten it from exact source yet, but it would appear that Martinez's complaint against the former Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris, has been thrown out. It has been quashed. Basically the court, and they named the judge and so on, has said, look, we don't really see this as having any merit, any value. I'm not a lawyer, but I look at Martinez's complaints that it looks like the UWP and Dominic Fede and Alan Chasney and some other communication surrogate that they have, are making such a big deal about it. I always wondered, to me, this is not something that has a legal basis to it. It's about dissatisfaction with the policy actions and the decisions of a sovereign state, to decide a product it has, what price it's selling, and then they went and they said, it's because it's in US dollars and it goes through the US banking system and whatever. I don't know, it is a crime if you want to sell your CIP to China or whatever. United States can say, okay, because of the amount of people you have from China, we are apprehensive, so your visas are going to be in trouble. But to take it in court as a criminal complaint, the United States can make a policy response to that. They can put visa regime on you, they can do things of that sort, but to make it in court as if an act of corruption was committed against the United States or that implicated the US banking system, usually America will respond to that if they already have beef with you for some other reason, some enemy of theirs that they think you're too friendly to, and that sort of thing. So they want to use some kind of reprisal pressure against you and so on. The anomaly of all this thing that is going on between America and China and whatever it is. The reality is America does not have formal state-to-state diplomatic relations with Taiwan. It has them with China. That is who it has it with. But I don't want to digress on that one. It seems to me that the thing against Timothy Harris has been thrown out. And I am saying, usually when you find this, these aggregated, these consolidated cases where you bring against different people, but because the issues are the same, they get aggregated, consolidated into one case with different headings and complaints. It would not surprise me that this is the precursor to the collapse of all of Martinez's, complaints and claims and allegations against Denzel Douglas and against this and St. Lucia's McLeod Emmanuel. It would not surprise me. And I think the UWP is sensing the writing on the wall. They realize that this thing is likely to go nowhere. From the start, I have had my suspicion that while Philip Martinez has been the front man, to be his face, giving interviews and all of that, that there is somebody from in here, that there is an inside man that there is a fifth columnist, that there is a stool pigeon, that there is an embedded implant, trying to use the whole Martinez thing to go after the government of St. Lucia, specifically Prime Minister Philip Pierre as Minister for Finance, Deputy Prime Minister Ernest Hilaire as the Minister for Investment and Tourism, who has portfolio responsibility for the Citizenship by Investment program, and, Macleod Emmanuel, in my opinion, was simply, they went after him merely as they kind of stand in, they think, patsy, by whom they can bring down, Ernest Hilaire and so on, a kind of an all the president's men. You can't go directly after the president, but let us bring down this fella, this chief of staff, this person, and so on, and then you follow the trail of who you can nail and who you can snare and snag, and then it will lead you to the person. I've always from the start suspected that this is what's going on, but the truth will come out. It can wait, but it has a way. It always comes out. We may find out who is financing Martinez, if not wholly, at least partly, for the foolishness that has been on. The fishing expedition to go after people. Who really believes that it will redound to some kind of political benefit to them? And so I'm not going to go deep into it. I have heard that the government, or at least a minister this week, is expected to hold a special particular press conference focusing on this whole CIE saga and brouhaha and whatever that's going on, and to speak about it. Because now that I believe the United Workers' Party realizes that this Martinez cookie is crumbling, they're trying all kinds of things. Now one of them every day has on Facebook and says she will continue doing it until she gets an answer, suggesting that Ernest Hilaire has stolen money amounting to more than $1 billion. How does a person steal $1 billion? How does a person steal $1 billion in an economy such as ours, which has all kinds of laws and safeguards? The CIP, Act and all of that, and the financial administration regulations and this kind of thing. What? They believe it's them who went and took a loan, from a foreign country, and then went and paid somebody commission on a loan that was a state to state, if I remember correctly, a state to state transaction, and then they took the money and went and parked it on some bank account in Panama or whatever it is, did all kinds of, somersault. Are they trying to get some revenge now? Are they trying to get some kind of payback that you nailed us on that, so now we're going to find something to nail you on? How does somebody, and Ernest still there, I'm sure, I expect him to, I urge him to, I heard he's out of the country, answer these questions that have been hurled at him about $1 billion and something million that are, somewhere in China in an escrow account, and this and that and the other and so on. I mean, I don't know, If you give somebody to be an agent for your CIP and so on at any given time, and they're supposed to have an operating float or something of money, do they have every penny they give to send it to you right away? How do they operate? How do they do deals and do the business on your behalf? What matters is the accountability and so on that is attached to it. So all of the things I'm seeing coming up now and all kinds, and I said, okay, you realize that what you were aiming at is going to fall, is going to crumble, So now you have to start frantically looking for all kinds of things to suspect. And you know what they know? They know that even though this is debunked, they know that even though this is refuted, that at the end of the day, the damage that they were seeking to do would have been done. You try to do it with Land Rover issue. You try to do it with Jufali issue. You try to do it with Global Ports issue. None of it stuck. So now you're given the impression that the minister had his hand in the CIP kitty and is pocketing money and is hiding it in an account in China. It would not surprise me. And somebody told me to put your hand in fire for people. That's true. If I have done that, I think I need to turn a corner right now. You never know who may be genuinely and truly corrupt, and they're also very clever and they know how to hide it. So I'm not going to put my hand. People are entitled to speak for themselves, but it would not surprise me that just as Richard Frederick found he had reached the end of his rope with certain people, and despite being a minister, he has moved to the courts to seek redress and has filed a lawsuit against certain people, one of whom seems to have dropped off, to have jumped off that train and so on of libel and slander and defamation and all kinds of crazy things that were being said. Another one now seems to have more time on her hands to do this kind of thing. It would not surprise me if Ernest Hilaire decides he has had enough. He has had enough. And he begins to take action. Maybe McLeod Emmanuel as well. Decide that they have had enough with this thing. Because the people who are going after were trying to bring in Timothy Harris and did not mind throwing him under the bus in their obsessive determination to go after Ernest Hilaire. Timothy Harris was supposed to have been their friend, was supposed to have been their buddy. And when they're going after the CIP, the Citizenship by Investment Unit in St. Lucia, and they're going after McLeod, there's a very close relative of them inside there, if not them, their spouse and so on inside there. And they don't mind. They don't mind who they're going to mow down because they realize that the normal political process and political method of gaining the advantage over a government, making yourself become more popular and more appealing than that government, it's not working for them. Because I'll tell you why, very simple, they're too negative. They do not come to try to sell themselves and say, look, if we are re-elected, this is what we would do. And they do not have the humility to come and admit that they made mistakes. They don't understand that this is something that endears you to people, When you have the humility, when you have the lowliness of mind and the modesty to come to people and say, look, we did this, we accept it was a mistake, we did so and so, but at the time we thought this is what would have worked, it didn't. We are now given the assurance that if and when we are re-elected, we are not going to do it that way. We are going to do it this way. The government wants to do it. We have a better way of doing it. And that is why we think it is work. And that is why we think the government cannot implement it now. Because whatever, they have gone too far down, the alley or the cul-de-sac of their own policy, self-imposition, of restrictions. We would do this way. We would do that this way. And so it doesn't happen in one shot, of course. You make yourself more appealing to people. Instead, the only way it seems they believe that they can sell themselves is by being nasty, is by being, trying to mess up somebody and embarrass people. And, it's always the negative thing. They're never trying to light their own candle and show you its brightness. It's always what they claim to be the darkness of others that they're always cursing. It's never that they encourage you to rejoice that your name is written in heaven and in the book of life. It's always to show you how they can cast out some demon, however imaginary, however illusory it is, however, a phantom, a fantasy that it is, it doesn't exist. He's always trying to paint somebody as a volley. He's always to try to show you Richard Frederick is victimizing the vendors of castries and this and that. And, Richard Frederick, it's true, nothing and everything he does will be welcomed and supported. You can never be too good that you don't have people who hate you, But when you look at this man's history with Serenity Park, with the different initiatives and things he has tried to do for ordinary people, vendors included, and you want to come and tell people that this man is wicked, that this man is victimizing, that this man is messing up people, that this man is and you come and do that, who's going to believe you? You're discrediting yourself more and more, And even worse, given what we are facing, especially what I highlighted the last weekend there, monsieur, about this double homicides, double homicides. If it's a double, what's it? It's the fourth power now, 4 people gone like that. For a leader of a major political party who is a former prime minister, who is now the leader of the opposition, who's the member of parliament for a constituency, to be coming out and talking about war, about preparing for war. At any time whatsoever, those words are to be absolutely condemned. But when those words come out on a weekend like the one we have just been through, you have to ask yourself, does the most even elementary wisdom and prudence and shrewdness and appropriateness and circumspection, does it reside in the United Workers' Party? Even the most elementary level of it. The utterances and pronouncements that have been coming from the United Workers' Party, its official direct platforms, its acknowledged surrogates and so on who they seem to be following, the things that they have been saying, they appealing to violence. If it's not about, make sure no politician of the Labour Party can come to Viewfort and to confront them with ammunition if they come. And it goes on and on and on and on about flogging people, about, this and that you're going to do to people and so on. People, is that wasn't it traditionally the Labour Party that they claimed was the party of violence and inciting and encouraging people? That's what the UWP has come. If it's not an incitement, or even a semblance of an incitement to violence, you have to be careful what you say. You don't say it and come back later and say, the war you were talking about is not violence and so on. On a weekend like that in St. Lucia, what we're going through, you don't have the maturity, you don't have the shrewdness, you don't have the perspicacity to understand the absolute danger of language in this tense and volatile powder keg situation of crime in which we have to navigate and find our way right now. You still go in and do that? And if it's not that, it's a talk about Chimbwa, it's a talk about dark forces, it's a talk about, it's witchcraft, and the cemetery they go into, and the witches thing, and all that. On the one hand, you were stoking the fires with your language of incitement to violence. On the other hand, you are appealing to and wanting to accentuate and exacerbate the ignorance of people to believe that what we are facing are not things that need to be investigated psychologically and sociologically and so on, and to examine them and your law enforcement response and so on. No, it's because somebody going to the cemetery and they're digging up a dead person and they're taking the dead person's skull and they're turning it in this direction and they're doing this, and that is what is causing the crime. That's the best you can offer people. That's the best you can offer people, and you call yourself a serious political party that wants to make the case that the people must entrust you once again and even more disastrously with the levers of the governance of this country. That's what you want to do? I say enough already. I say too much. Let's take our last commercial break, and when we come back, those telephone lines are open for your calls and your messages.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417, let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758-453-7458.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
I need Mr. Shasta.
The man.
When we will receive the $7.3 million which he claims was for vaccine. You know everything about what's wrong with CIP and this and that, and the American banking system was abused and all this kind of thing. What happened to St. Lucia, our money? All the horrendous wastage and giving away and whatever went on with it. Can I be something too good and so on? Give us a comprehensive accounting of it. The telephone lines are open for your calls. The mobile WhatsApp line where you can make WhatsApp calls to us. So those of you overseas, Bernard Haynes, I see your name just flashing there that you mentioned my name. Kisauka Nome 724-7325. That's 758-724-7325. And you can also call us on our landline, Studio Direct, 4533-911. Now, Miguel Favre, I'm not even going to answer you, the kind of birthday greetings. Hear that from Miguel. Belated greetings, my brother. 80 looks good on you. You think I should answer this guy? You think I should even be talking to him? 80 looks good on you. Okay, Miguel. If I'm 80 years old and you say I'm looking that good, then my goodness me, I wouldn't, create any fuss to be 60 or 50 or 40 or whatever it is. All right, another person writes, let me say good afternoon to Mr. Victor Girard. We have a lot of time and respect for him, one of our elders as a public servant, one of our elders as a thinker, as a public-spirited citizen, who says to me, well, belated birthday greetings, best wishes for a long and fulfilling life in good health and prosperity. And it says, the Flambos say government sold over 14,000 CIP passports at a cost of over $1 billion US. Now they say the funds are missing. The last administration was so steeped in corruption, they see corruption in everything. The current government does, they see corruption in everything the current government does, or even create acts of corruption to make it appear it's the doing of those in office. Well, like they say, evil thinketh as evil doeth, Yeah, they say that, that evil thinketh. And what I'm finding, so many of the things that are being alleged about the CIP had their beginnings, had their incipience, had their maturation during a time that predates the St. Lucia Labour Party of July 26, 2021. These things, even with what's happening in St. Kitts and so on, but is the one that occurs during the tenure of Philip J. Pierre that they claim that they want to focus upon. This is the real issues. We have our first caller. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Senator.
Hey.
Honorable Shelton Daniel.
How are you doing?
I said happy birthday yesterday, but let me my voice and say belated.
All right, okay.
Yeah, according to Migs, 80 look good.
Yeah, 80 looks good. But you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna FedEx me or whatever it is, my cake special made and so on, and I'll leave the drink for you to choose.
Definitely. Shelton, my daughter sat down in the car there. I was driving her to an appointment, and she's listening to you, and he said, "My God, does he has a dictionary in front of him?" Said you have such an expansive vocabulary, and she's just like she's taken aback, and she's in awe of just you speaking and asking me, "Is he a professor? Is he?"
Give her my regards. Yeah.
Yes, I will do. But yeah, Shelton, I said that earlier when I read that that court case. I said the cookie is crumbling. The sad reality is, it's going to just bring more anger to Alan Chasney, because all the things he's trying, all what he's trying to see if he could tear down somebody is backfiring right back in his face. Like the old folks had something saying, yeah. And I think that's exactly what is happening. They hear something, they see something, and they run with it. And before you know it, they're rejoicing and they're up and about, not taking their time to study it, to see where it's going, how is it going to come to affect us as a people. They just run and rejoice with anything they get.
Yeah.
A drowning man catch at a straw, and Chasney know his political life is drowning in St. Lucia.
Did you see him in the video clips of that town hall? Did you see how he looked? Did you see how he looked drained and beat up and
drained? His anger is taking over him. Man, I never see some. I mean, sometime ago I was listening to a show of one of your shows, and you said that you said something about human beings are the only species who does not love themselves because they throw garbage everywhere. They do things. I think Alan Chasney is one of these people.
Yeah.
This guy does really not love himself, Shelton. I think this guy himself as I am in charge of things, and that's how I see it. I will take control of what I have to take control, and he's not realizing that very thing he wants to control will not happen, and it is draining him.
Yeah.
It is putting him down. It is creating more anger. He's not being still. I don't want to use the biblical verse of saying be still and all that. He's just not being still. He's just pushing more and more narrative that is just coming back to hurt him more and more. You have so much anger that you are so vicious to go after somebody who has done nothing to you. Honestly, they have done nothing to Alan Chasney,
Mm-hmm.
And Alan Chasney will stop at nothing.
Yeah.
To see if he can take down and in the process trying to take down the Prime Minister, who has not done him anything. If anything, I think Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre has been more sympathetic with Chasney. You know, according to Minister Sean Edward, Payo Saksi Maubanu.
Yeah.
But yet still the Prime Minister is going to give your community everything that every other district is getting. Because you know, he knows that it is something for the people and not for Alan Chasney, but for the people.
Yes.
But yet still, you want to go after him. Let me give Miguel a chance to call.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bernard. Okay, we have another call on the line. Good afternoon. Real Issues.
Yes, Shelton, good afternoon.
Hey, what's up?
Malawi.
It's always remarkable when you call me because I know these days you deep in the calypso.
Yeah, I am. But we're at quarterfinal stages. There's a pause and that kind of thing. Oh, sorry, there's a lull. You know,
The lull or the null? Which one?
But I think he said a null. I can't even remember. You know what? Seriously, I need to go back because I need to use it.
But not exactly the kind of person you want to emulate. So go ahead, be yourself. What's on your mind today?
Shelton, let me take on a short man for a little bit. When the man tell you that AT looks good on you, you have to print it on a t-shirt, the letters A and C. Okay?
What does that mean? A and E?
A and C. A, C.
Okay.
So, Shelton, regarding the work the current government is doing, there is absolutely nothing that the opposition can find to really stick Mr. Pierre's feet to the ground or to the cross for. They cannot find a thing, and they have been searching. They've wanted something on Ernest Hilaire forever, and they are not yet able to find. Even whilst in government, they created illusions. So it is no surprise now. And one of the very first emotions that Alan Chasney experienced on the night of July 26, 2021, was that of anger. He was angry that he lost the powers or the reins of power to this country. He was angry that he could no longer control how the jackasses braid, because the jackasses proved to him that they can bray enough to keep him out, and we did. Now he is braying. It is his turn to bray, and he cannot bray in tea, so he brays in anger. And we're not going to feel sorry for him. And Mr. Pierre did a video this morning. Mr. Pierre was in conversation with Yadi this morning. Mr. Pierre ain't even tick on that man. Mr. Pierre has no time for anger. Ma fact confusion. Mr. Pierre engages in ensuring that his socks, even his socks, bring a smile to people's faces. He wears those crazy socks. Mr. Pierre ensures that when he walks, he skanks. That when you go back to the 70s and you see Mr. Pierre walk, it'll bring a smile to your face. He has no time for anger. He, even with his stuttering, he chuckles at every opportunity that he gets. He has no time for anger. So Chasney is only now just beginning to get angry. If he thinks he angry now, he just has to get angry. Because when St. Jude is officially opened, the original St. Jude, he is going to go even madder. Okay? So we are not threatened. Any other regular person would have made those statements and remarks, and they would have been called in by the police or hunted by the police. But I'm happy. Nobody should call for the police to ask him to say anything regarding his feelings. Let him express his emotions freely in this democracy with irresponsibility as it is. But we just have to get him angry. with just that. All the works that are going on, you're looking at a young woman trying to do something, buy land, and you called her a non-entity, and now you care about.
So let me tell you, if we have to paraphrase his sidekicks, his best sidekicks words, if that's making you angry, you just start to get angry.
No, he said if it's for that you crying. So if it's for that he angry, he just start to get angry. If it's for that he angry.
You have a lot more getting angry to do still.
Of course. Let me tell you. Imagine they made an issue of ICC cricket and saying that there was a terrorist threat to this country, right? For ICC cricket. Okay? And guess who are making the terrorist statements? When you as a former prime minister, current leader of the opposition, current leader of the opposition party, the opposing party, right, will make a statement, and if they are to put all of those statements together about your anger, and it's not just that he uses the words, it's his body language, his facial expression and everything. Shouldn't we be concerned that possibly somebody somewhere somehow may have an issue with it and figure that we do indeed have a terrorist attack, a terrorist threat right here? Come on now, don't tell me nobody on the man's team can tell him. And you know what hurts more? The 43%ers are cheering him on. They are cheering him on. And I am going to say very emboldenedly, it is by no accident when he makes those statements.
Okay.
The rate.
Somebody has sent a message while you're speaking. Hello, good afternoon to the old lady. I don't know why they call her the old lady. Maybe they wanted to say the old lady. Good song from her granddaughter. Blessed love.
Oh, thank you on her behalf. And they can call me old. I feel old sometimes and I'm young most times. Bye-bye, Shelton. Leave me alone.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty.
Nancy calls the Halls of Justice project the Halls of Injustice. Because of her mathematical miscalculations, she concluded that we are paying way above the actual cost. All right. That's another message that I just got. I have to say, Nancy Charles seems to be someone given to encouraging and fostering a spirit of ingratitude among people. I heard some very not nice things that she said about the housing assistance project and all that. But we'll get back to that. We have another call on the line. Good afternoon. Real Issues.
Good afternoon, Brother Sheldon. Daniel, how are you? Good afternoon. Great show as always. How are you doing?
I'm all right, my brother Anson. How are you?
Hanging in. Best wishes to everybody listening.
Nice hearing you.
I heard you listening. I heard you describing, some kind of billions of dollars. Now, I heard Shasney last night, talking about it takes at least $1 billion the budget on any fiscal year to be able to run the affairs of St. Lucia. Yeah. But I also heard him said that the St. Lucia Labour Party had sold the CIP project up to $60,000. He himself, Shasney, brought it from $200,000 to $100,000. If $60,000 can bring back our economy from where Shasney left it to where it is, what did he do with the $100,000 that he himself was selling? The CIP to him? He sell it $100,000, and with the $100,000, he brought St. Lucia in a deficit, and it take the fiscal responsibility of a man like the Honorable Philip J. to take it from a deficit with less money to bring it to a surplus. What will St. Lucia have to even think of bringing Alan Shasney if he managed the economy in such a way?
Yeah. Let me just suggest something to you. I'm not sure this is what happened, but when I read the complaints that Philip Martinez and his MSR media are bringing against Caribbean Galaxy, here's what the fellas are saying. That if St. Lucia's passport or CIP or whatever cost $300,000, they are telling the people that they're selling it to Give them half, give them 150, and they will finance the rest. Now, if somebody tells you that they're going to finance the rest of what you might otherwise pay, they're offering you a deal because maybe they want the cash up front, maybe they need the cash flow, and they're telling you that they will invest it in a hotel project, and they're so confident that the hotel will be profitable that the other 150 that you might have paid for investing in the hotel project, they will finance the other half from their own money, right? Because they're confident of the profit that they're going to make. Now, there are different things. Sometimes you go and I'm sure maybe you've done courses and whatever things, and they offer you that if you pay so much, they will finance so much, whatever. Basically, they discount it for you. That's not something that is illegal. And I'm saying if they are financing it, it means they understand that they owe the government of St. Lucia $300,000 per pop. You understand what I'm saying? So if they want to finance half of it for the people that they sell to, what is important is that the government of St. Lucia is not being denied its fair shake of the transaction as laid down in its law and its regulations. You want to go and sell it at a discount, but at the end of the day, you still have to give me my $300,000. You understand?
My $300,000.
How you
yes.
get it and so on. Now, if that is what is happening, that's what seems to me that they're alleging. What is your beef with it? Someone employs some creative means to sell the CIP shares or whatever, how they do it and so on, and the government of St. Lucia gets what it wants. The people who are involved, they pass muster in terms of the due diligence, in terms of the qualifying criteria, in terms of the security clearance. How does that become something that a foreign government, in this case the United States, has any kind of jurisdiction over through its courts or whatever it is? Oh, I just don't understand. Why are you taking the people to court? But maybe I am a klutz when it comes to legal and judicial things, and it will be explained to us better. But already, as I said, it seems like the cookie has begun to crumble. You know, with this crumbling or throwing out of this case against Timothy Harris, let us see how many of the other accused defendants, respondents, that the allegations against them can stand, because usually there's a domino effect. Once one falls, all the rest, because there's a similarity of the complaints against them, they fall as well. You know.
Senator, I have one more question. I heard Alan Chastney declare war last night on the platform dealing with the people. War. He is willing to go to war with the people, and he asked the Flambeau people to go to war. And I also heard him describe in an officer of the law who went and on a raid in Vieux-Fort. He was very explicit, and he said that the Labour Party, is so don't know what they're doing that they send an ordinary police officer. I mean, do you see a police officer as an ordinary person in the execution of their duties? I mean, when a man like Chastney said, how many of you all are willing to die for St. Lucia? He asked that in New York.
Which ordinary police officer was he referring to?
No, in other words, he was referring to I believe from my understanding of what he said, he was referring to the rank of the police officer. This is what I believe that he meant. And if I'm not mistaken, he said that they would send an ordinary in any capacity. When you use the word for a law enforcement officer as someone who was being the prime minister and still aspiring to be prime minister, and you look at a man in the execution of his duty as a police officer and you call him an ordinary man who don't deserve to go where he do, where he went to do his work.
That would be perfectly to form and character of Chastney. He's disdainful. Chastney is disdainful of us St. Lucians, the black St. Lucians, who he regards as lesser mortals. The only reason he tolerates us and rubs shoulders with us is because we are a means to an end for him. We have a stepping stone to attaining political power. Our vote and our support and so on are things that he cannot dispense with, at least not for now. But Chastney is very disdainful of us. You know, this is what is going on with the guy. Yeah.
My God, I pray that St. Lucians understand. Yeah. And I thank God, we have people like you, we have people like, the Yadi Show, the Honorable Richard Frederick with Albert Frederick to explain, because, people just hear people use words and we are dismissive of the words that they use, but words can have serious consequences and repercussion on the well-being.
Okay. Brother Anson, we have to go now. The lotto comes in live. It's not a recorded thing, so we have to take it as it comes in. And I'm indicated that it's coming in right now. So thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. We have to sign out right now. Really appreciate your company.
The man.
Big 4 2067. The Big 4 multi-export run is 3x. Big 2 91. The Big 2 multi-export run is FP. 1 off 521. Lucky 3 274. The Lucky 3 multi-export run is 2x.
Now back. The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.